Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Now, who doesn't like getting new hardware? Well, I'm so excited today that I've got wood. A wooden rig. Hello everyone, yes, you heard me right. We are testing a wooden rig. Now this is made by Rock Solid Rigs. The model number is RSR-21. Mark from Rock Solid Rigs contacted me and said, Dave, do you want to have a look at this rig? Let us know what you think. No expectations from Mark with regards to whether I put a video out or not, but I thought I would film the process and let you guys know what it's like. Now, Mark from Rock Solid Rigs, his background is in Formula 1, namely composites, and he tells me that the way this is designed uses a lot of the technology in Formula 1. Now, this is made from birch plywood, and Mark tells me the way this is structured, it's very similar to composites used in F1, i.e. the plywood is 90 degrees stacked to give it that rigidity. Now, until we test a product, we don't know what it's like. Now, there are claims made by every manufacturer with every product they release. So I'm just going to read some of the things off the website now. So, Formula 1 design meets race and flight simulation. So totally unique. RSR is the original professional wooden sim racing cockpit. So it's developed by Formula 1 designer without gimmicks or compromise, optimized using the same techniques and software used by the F1 teams. So it goes on to say that the birch plywood enables the chassis geometry to be optimized for exceptional stiffness using ribs, spars and triangulation throughout. So it goes on, steel bolts and battle nuts are used throughout just as they are in real racing cars and aircraft. This allows for high clamping loads between parts due to the plywood's high shear out strength, whatever that means. This contributes to the structure's exceptional stiffness. So it goes on, inspired by aircraft bulkhead designs. Load paths are optimized using specialist software to provide greater system stiffness under steering and braking than most steel or aluminium rigs, making you faster. Well, that's a big claim, that, saying that it's stiffer than aluminium rigs or steel. The exceptional stiffness of the chassis also allows screens to be mounted directly to it without vibration issues. Now, that's something that I'm interested in. It'd be really nice to get away from having a separate monitor stand for the rig. So there's some pretty big claims from Rock Solid Rigs. So let's open the boxes and see what's inside. So we're not going to kick the backside out of the unboxing because I just want to see what the materials are like. Then we'll get them all out and stacked and then see where we go. I will say though that Mark from Rock Solid Rigs said, if you want, Dave, I'll drop you off a fully assembled rig. And I says, well, to be honest, I'd like to build it up from scratch. And he says, right, okay, then I'll send you exactly what we would send to a customer. So this is what you're going to get when you order one of these rigs. Worth bearing in mind. So bear with me. Right, okay then. Blimey. See if I can get that to stay up. Well, it's different. Nice though. I'll fetch one of these pieces over so you can see. Actually, really, really nice. Hopefully that's in focus. I think it is. Really, really nice wood. I don't know about you, but my other half will be much happier seeing this in here than the monstrosity that I had. Really nice, really nice. So what do we have in here? So there's a few. I'll show you some other bits and pieces as well while we're here. So hopefully you can see that. Really nice though. And there, I don't know if you can see on the inside. Well, there you can see on the end there actually. There's the ply, how many layers there are. Always smells good too. New wood always smells nice. I'm doing this without a safety net as well, folks. I've no protection down on that part. I'll be a dead man if I scratch this floor. So in here, there is the rig, the quad monitor stand. So it's for the triples and the fourth, and also a keyboard tray, mouse tray, I believe, mouse mat, and HOTAS joystick, which I think this might be actually, I'm not sure. But that's apparently what's here. So, lots and lots of pieces. Nice, all looks good. And then some instructions, much needed instructions. I'll bring these over so you can see them. So it should be pretty clear, hopefully. Let's have a look. So yeah, so it is quite clear how it all goes together, he says. But we'll keep you updated as the build goes on. All looks good. And then the bigger piece there. And then the sides, which is what we want to see. This is what we want to see, folks. So these are the sides for the rig. Now this is obviously the steering wheel deck here. No doubt this is the back where the seat's going to go, and then the pedal deck there. Really nice though. Really excited to see if it actually is as strong as they claim it is. Right, we'll get all this out of the box. I won't bore you with that. We'll get it all stacked up and then we'll start the build. So we've got everything laid out. So this is obviously just the main rig itself. So in the box we have a load of fixings. So there's a load of barrel nuts, and you can see those there. A load of barrel nuts. Then we have these plastic adjustment type knobs. Then we have a load of Allen bolts. I don't know if that's focusing there. There you go. And then this, I'm not sure what this is yet, but another bag of bolts, and then one that's marked up as ancillary. So we'll see what that is. So next step is to find my glasses to try and read the instructions. But looking at it, looks straightforward. If you've ever done flat pack furniture, as daft as that sounds, then this should be pretty similar. Right, I'll just give you a little look at how these go together. So we have holes on the end of the piece there, and then we've got these larger holes. Now this is to fit in one of these barrel nuts. Now you can see them there, they're threaded on the inside, but it's not really focusing. And then it's got a flat-ended screwdriver side there. So we just pop that in the hole, but we've got to align this hole so it faces that way. So we put it in like so, and then we've just got a bolt that goes in the end there and tightens that down. Dead easy. Hopefully it's all as straightforward as that. Right, so what we need to do first is get the base of the chassis built. Now there is an Allen key that comes with the kit, and the instruction says just loosely do all the nuts and bolts and then tighten everything up afterwards. So we'll do that. So let's begin. Dead easy, dead straightforward. Love it. And there we go. So that's the basis of the chassis. It's not very wide, but I suppose it doesn't really need to be. Yeah, it's not as wide as I thought it would be, but it doesn't need to be. As long as I can get my legs in, that's all I need to worry about. Right, we'll continue. So now we need to put on the side parts for the wheel deck. Now these just bolt on there, two of them either side, dead straightforward, same principles, barrel nuts in the holes and an Allen bolt through there. So it should take 2 minutes. As I'm building, I keep wondering just how strong it's going to be, but I suppose once you start bringing other components together, things get stronger, but I'm really excited to see just how strong it is. So that's the main chassis built. We've still got the seat box to build and the pedal box, but all that's left to do now is just tighten all this up, make sure it's nice and secure. Right, so even just with this middle part holding everything together, I'm squeezing there as hard as I can. It's not moving. So when the front and back sections are connected, geez, this is going to be strong. Right, so now we're going to build up the seat box, which will probably go on that end, I would imagine, but we'll have a look at that in a second. So these are the bits that we need. Now, what we have to do here, I'll show you this actually. We have to hammer these T-nuts. You can see those with the little edges on there. We've got to hammer those in there, and then this will go from that side and go in these slots on the side of the rig to give you that adjustability. So we'll get these hammered in and then we'll see where we are then. So there we go, that's those in. Now these things go in there, screw them in, and then that enables you to then adjust the seat box. Great little idea. So there's the base of the seat box, and that is really, really substantial. That's really strong. Just with the fixings, everything's really nice and tight. There's no movement. It'll be even stronger when we put this bad boy on. So everything should be in there already. Yeah, they are. So it should just be a case of buttoning this down and we're good to go. So there we go, that's the seat box done. Dead straightforward. It is absolutely solid. That is going nowhere. So we just need to put on 4 of these and then we can slot it into place. Right, so the seat box is ready to go into place. I've moved the camera, hopefully you can see what I'm doing. So we'll just get it kind of roughly into place at the moment. So you could sit it right down, I guess, but we don't want to. So bear with me. Where's the holes? There they are. There we go. Essentially, that's how it sits and that's how it holds. So it'll be interesting to see what it's like with a bit of weight on it, but we'll get the rest on. So there we go. Hopefully you can see how that works. So this is the rear of the rig. The seat's going to sit on here. And we have 4 different heights where the seat position can go, and we've got this range of movement here. So there's 6 stages where you can move it back or forwards. So excellent. Seems really tough. We'll just do the front now. So it's the same deal with the pedal box as it is with the seat box. So I'm not going to go through all that with you. I'll crack on, I'll get that built and we'll come back when it's done. So there we go, the pedal subframe is in, the seat subframe is in, it feels rock solid. All we need to do now is put on the steering wheel mount, and it's just these few pieces here. So let's get on with it. So it's very much a similar kind of deal to before. You're just putting in your barrel nuts in the holes and then fixing everything together. It couldn't be simpler. There's nothing to it, dead easy. Right, that's the wheel deck built. Now this is the only bit that has worried me because it's held on by 4 of these, which are obviously you tighten up by hand. Now I don't know how tight they're going to get it. There's one goes in there and then there's one goes in here for the adjustability, so you can get the forward and back tilt. I may be worrying over nothing, but that's the only bit that concerns me, but we'll get it on and see how it is. Right, wheel deck in place. So the slack at the moment, so it gives you that forward and backwards adjustability, the tilt. Now, turns out I shouldn't have worried, because when these are tight, it's going absolutely nowhere. rock solid, and I can still nip that up a little bit more just to make sure, but that is absolutely rock solid. Right, so we've built the main chassis, that's all done. So the next thing we're going to do is build up the central monitor stand. So once we've got that on, then we can look at adding the triples. So dead easy, there's not too many pieces, same process as before. Let's get to it. I'll just give you a look at the instructions. So this is what we're making. It's this item on the side there. So that's what it looks like. Instructions are quite self-explanatory, quite simple. Nothing to it. Little guide at the top there to tell you what to use. And there's the tools: hammer, screwdriver and Allen key. Right, let's do it. Right, so here we are then. There's the finished monitor stand. Man, this was difficult to put together, this one, only because I had to try and get my head round how it all works. But there is a cool little adjuster here where I can move the monitor in or out, and then obviously I can loosen this one, and then I've got pitch on the monitor as well. But dead easy to adjust. We took it right back just for now. So the next thing is fitting this onto the rig, which should be quite straightforward, hopefully. It should just sit astride this somehow. There we go, like so. And then we tighten it up with these things. Fully adjustable. Cracking. So there we go, monitor stand on. Need to tighten these up properly whenever we get it in the level where we want it. But really, really sturdy. It feels as sturdy, or if not more sturdy, than my Aluminium Profile rig at the moment. It'd be interesting to see what it's like with the side monitors on. But oh my word, it feels sturdy. I'm so surprised. So that's the first day done. I'm going to wrap up for the night and we'll be back in the morning. Right, so it's the morning after the night before. I'm going to start putting on the side monitor arms. I've got my cup of coffee. I just thought I would just reflect on the build so far. Really, really easy. The fixings are the same throughout, so there's no confusion. Really simple. The only thing that was a bit of a pain was the monitor mount, and that was just because I'm stupid and I couldn't really visualize where things needed to be. The instructions could be a little bit better. I'll feed that back into Mark and speak to Mark about that. But it's really easy. It's just because I'm a bit stupid, like I said. The VESA mount there fits on the back of the monitor. That should be really easy. It needs tightened up, obviously. But the actual rig is like really sturdy. I'm so surprised at how sturdy it is. So Rock Solid Rigs, well, the name doesn't lie at the moment, but we'll see how it is when we get the direct drive bolted on and the Husingveld pedals. So today's job, first of all, we're going to put on these side monitor arms after I've had my cup of coffee. Right, so we'll have a look in the box then for the side monitor arms. So these are obviously the side parts, I presume. So there's a few of these. Well, two of those actually. And these smaller parts. Again, everything's so nicely finished. They're all hand finished, these, as you can tell. Everything's nicely countersunk. I don't know if you can see that there, but everything's really nicely countersunk. I've not come across one problem at all. You know, when you build rigs up, usually a bolt won't go in, or the snag. Everything is perfectly lined up, so I can't fault it at all. So there's 4 of those. So they're the actual side arms, and then there's a few little pieces, and then two more VESA mounts. They're VESA mounts. They're incredible. They're incredible. They look a bit strange, don't they? But they actually work. I've mounted that to the back of the monitor and it works perfectly. So, and then there's a few more pieces in here. then, oh, a load more screws and fixings. Right, let's get to it. So there's the monitor arm built for the right hand side. So that will sit on this side there. So quite a simple design. Obviously structurally really solid, but then this is where the monitor is going to go on, and you've got left and right adjustability there. Then you've also got your, I can slide it there, you up and down that way, and then there, so you can angle the monitor. So should be perfect. It should be dead easy. And obviously once these are cinched up tight, this thing doesn't go anywhere. Right, let's get this on the rig. Right, so we have built the side arms for the triple screen. Now these were a bit fiddly to build, but now they are solid. Now there's one thing that we need to bear in mind if you do buy one of these and go to build it. These T-nuts here, hopefully it'll focus. Doesn't focus when you want it to. Try again. There we go. Right, so they need to be hammered into the wood. Now, I didn't put them in when I built the central monitor stand, but they need to go on the underside there. So I had to take all this to pieces to hammer these in because they need to be hammered in. So that's one thing just to bear in mind. So fitting the side arms is really easy. So you just slot it on like that, and there's these bolts that go through the top. That's one. And you tell me if you've ever seen a side monitor arm go on that easy. And there you go. And obviously you tighten it down to where you want it. There you go. Lovely jubbly. Right, let's get the other one on. So now we're going to build up the fourth monitor stand there. So there are more instructions. As usual, everything's beautifully finished. So there are a few pieces, little jigsaw. Same process as earlier on, it would seem, with the barrel nuts. Should be dead straightforward, so let's get on with doing that. Right, so we're quite a way into the build now. So we've got the main chassis done. We've got the seat box subframe and the pedal subframe. We have the fourth monitor stand on the top there. We have the side monitor stands on there, or the arms. Everything is lined up absolutely perfectly. I'm amazed at just how accurate the holes and the cuts are. It is unbelievable. Right, so next job, I suppose, is the keyboard tray, the mouse holder, and the shifter mount. So the next thing is the keyboard and mouse tray. So keyboard goes on the top, mouse on the bottom. You can swing it in and out depending on where you want it, and it mounts just on to the main frame with these bad boys. So I'll try and do this without standing up if I can. If I manage to do this, I'll be surprised. That's one, and we'll just try and get the other one on without standing up because I'm lazy. But we should be all right though. We should, hopefully we can get it in there. Maybe not. Definitely not. There we go, job's a good one. Swings in, wherever you want it, and out. Ideal, look at that, perfect. We'll probably lower it down a little bit, I think. But happy days. I like that. Really like that. So next job is the shifter mount. Now the Fanatec shifter will just bolt straight onto the top here. And this uses the same kind of design as everything else really, with these to tighten it up and adjust it. So this should be relatively straightforward. Job's a good one. So I've done a couple of bits and pieces which I didn't record because I had to pop out, and I've been ducking in and out all day long. So I've mounted the seat, which was just 4 bolts, dead easy. Mounted the DD1, that's pre-drilled, so that was straightforward, so that's mounted. That's mainly just so I can get my seat in position where I want it to be, because I had to drill 12 holes for the Husingveld pedals. They're now attached to the rig, so there's no base plate. The controller box is tucked away nice and neat underneath. So things to do: screens, cable management, that's pretty much it. Put on the keyboard tray and stuff like that, which I took off just whilst I was working on the rig. So not really much to do now, just finishing off screens, cable management, which I hate, but this rig, it does have a lot of little hidey holes, so I should be able to hide the cables quite neatly on this rig. So let's get on with the screens. Right, so a bit of an update. We've put the centre monitor on just so we can get the height for the wheelbase. So that's all tickety-boo. Distance from the seat seems good. You can move this screen in and out, so if I wanted to, I could move the screen a little bit closer. So we're going to put on the side monitors now, and I'll just show you the VESA mount, which is quite clever. So there's the VESA mount. It's just ply. Fits perfectly. You get the screws, the Allen screws come with it. They fit perfectly. So we're just going to pop this on to this side screen now. Right, so hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm doing here. I'm having to do it from the back and I can't really see, but I'm trying to give you the best view that I possibly can. So you just put that bolt through there, right into the centre of the VESA mount, and tighten that up. So I don't know where we need to be height wise, but that's miles off. So we can adjust it here to give it a bit of tilt, and then obviously adjust it that way. That's not looking bad. That's not looking bad. I don't know if you can see that there. I'll try and move this camera temporarily so you can see. But that's not a million miles away right there. We obviously just need to adjust it a little bit more to get the heights correct. But that's not a million miles away. Right, we'll get the other one on. Right, I'll try and show you as best that I can, but everything's over the other side of the room as far as recording goes. So this is as far as my camera will go. So it's pretty good. I am happy with it. It looks all right. I might need to bring them in a little bit closer. I'm not too sure yet. But so far, so good. We just need to get the fourth monitor stand on the top there now. But looking more like a rig. So this isn't going to be easy, I don't think. Actually, not too bad. Need to tighten these up though. There we go. Job's a good one. Probably need to angle that a little bit towards me, but so far so good. Looks good. Right, so we've kind of got it in a position where it's all working, although I've not tried to drive it. I thought I'd give you a little update though as to where we are. Right, bear with me. I'll spin the camera around so you can see. So the cable management side of things, this little trellis and the aperture there, the cavity, really handy for hiding the cables. I'm getting a wireless keyboard and mouse, so there won't be that many cables. But even around the back, where we've got all the power supplies for the monitors and the HDMI cables, nice and tidy. This will all be tidied up down there. But so far so good. It's working all right. All the screens work. Direct drives lit up nicely. I need to find somewhere for my audio device there. So I'll show you around the back here. Bear with me, don't mind dodgy camera work. So this is where there's a bit of a mess. So we need to tidy all this up, but it's still much better than it used to be. All the cables are just running down that side there. And again, you can see in there, well, hopefully you can see. That's where I've got my power supply for my monitor. But so far so good. The next thing we're going to do is take it for a drive and see if those bold claims stack up. So what people want to know is, does it move? Is it solid? It's a timber frame. How solid can it be? Well, there is a little bit of movement. but you don't notice it in the rig. And that's just the nature of the beast when you have a monitor stand attached to a rig. Under normal driving, you will never notice it. In fact, I've never noticed it when I've been driving. I only saw it when I watched a small clip back. So, I've made a couple of changes to the rig. The actual wheel deck, I've angled it away from me so the steering wheel isn't as up and down. So it's not straight up and down vertically, so it's kind of angled away, almost like a real car. My seating position seems a bit higher than it was. Other than that, everything feels good. There is a couple of creaks from the rear subframe, but no doubt once the wood's settled and I'll tighten it back up again, I'm sure that that'll be just fine. But I cannot see any movement when I'm sitting in the sim rig at all. You'll probably see a bit of movement on the end of the monitor arm there, no doubt. And any rigs like that, when you've got a monitor stand attached to the rig, that's whether it's wooden or aluminium profile, you're always going to get that. But when you're actually sitting in the rig, you can't notice it. Can't notice it one little bit. So I have my force feedback now the same as I had when I had the aluminium profile rig. And I have my force feedback quite high. Anybody that watches my videos will see that I'm sweating my what's it's off at the end of a race because I have it quite high, and it's all part of the immersion, isn't it? So that's how I had it on my aluminium profile rig. I've not changed a thing apart from the angle of my steering. But it feels really good. I can't, honestly, I cannot feel any movement at all. I'm sure there will be. There's bound to be. There was movement in my aluminium profile rig. This rig, when I push the wheel deck side to side, there's less movement in this than there was in my aluminium profile rig. I tested that just when I was building it. Push the wheel deck side to side, and this moves less than what my aluminium profile rig did. But there is going to be movement, but it feels rock solid. Honestly, when you're sat in the rig, it feels rock solid. But we'll move the camera around and we'll do a close-up of the wheel deck and see if you can pick up any movement there, because I can't feel any, and I've not checked that actually yet, so that will be good to actually watch that back. We'll pull over here and I'll just move the camera around. Right, so I'll just move the camera. I'll just start the car again and let's see if we can see any movement in the wheelbase itself. You can probably see the angle that I've got the wheelbase to there. This is obviously straight, this line here, and this is the gap. So that's the angle which I'm tilting it backwards. Well, I can't feel any movement at all. Like I say, it'll be interesting to watch this back and see if there is any. It's hard to tell when you're actually driving because obviously the car on the screen is moving. So that's what your eyes are drawn to rather than any other kind of movement. That feels good though, feels good. Let's go over the grass. You can see I do have quite high force feedback. Can't feel any movement at all. All feels good. So same kind of thing again. I nearly forgot to test the pedal deck. Right, so same thing again, but we're going to have a look at the pedals. I thought it'd be good to include this. I nearly forgot, to be honest. Let's just see if we can see any movement at all. You'll have to excuse those dodgy LED lights underneath. Forgot to turn those off. One colour might look pretty cool. Right, let's see. Hard braking area down here. We'll brake when we normally brake. You see anything? What about you? But I can't feel anything. Oh. Right, so we'll just take it down to this next heavy braking area. At the bottom of the straight after the kink. I'll really stamp on the brakes here now. Nothing. You can see the actual pedal is moving. The actual plate isn't. Excellent. Happy days. Right, there we go. All built up, ready to rock and roll. The only things that I haven't done is build the HOTAS and throttle mounts, but that won't take long. I'll do that in another video. I just wanted to get this video wrapped up so you guys can have a look. So what do I think of the rig? I love it. I absolutely love it. I love the way it looks. Everything is perfectly functional. Everything works well. The side monitor arms, I can move those out the way like so. There's no dramas. And then when I want to get it back in, just pull it back in and it's done. Same with that one. It's perfect. The fourth monitor stand is perfect. Everything's fully adjustable. Rock Solid Rigs stated, and I read it out at the beginning of the video, stated that this was as solid or even more solid than some aluminium profile or steel rigs. And I can't argue with that. There is a little bit of movement on the side monitor arms, but that's just because it's attached to the main rig. And I've got my force feedback quite high. I would get that with an aluminium profile rig. Any rig where the monitors are attached to the main rig, you're going to get movement. It's just the way it is. But there's not much, and you definitely don't notice it when you're driving in the rig at all. I couldn't feel any movement in the wheel deck at all. Things may move. I may need to tighten things up a little bit, but that's no great shakes. There is a little bit of creaking from the seat subframe, but that might just be until it beds in, and I'll nip that back up. I'm sure that'll be gone in a couple of weeks. So what are the pros and cons? Well, pros, it looks super cool, I think. Really easy to put together. You don't need any tools. Well, apart from a hammer and a flat-bladed screwdriver maybe, and you get the Allen key in the kit. That's all you need to build the whole thing together. Nothing else. Price-wise, really, really competitively priced. For everything that I've got here, it's going to cost you around about 750 quid. Minus the seat and the screens, obviously. But for a full rig, triple monitor or quad monitor rig, with the keyboard and mouse tray, the HOTAS, the gear shifter mount, that's not bad at all. Everything was perfectly packaged. I really can't fault the whole process of putting it together. Really, really straightforward. Negatives, maybe the instructions could be a little bit better or the diagrams a little bit clearer. That's the only thing. If you've got DIY experience, then you'll have no problems figuring it all out. It's no different to any DIY flat pack furniture now. There are all these battle nuts and screws and stuff, so dead straightforward. Any other negatives? I can't think of any. I really can't think of any. I've not done a full race with it yet, but I can't see it being any different to what the Aluminium Profile rig was. I can't really think of any negatives apart from the instructions, really. There was a few screws and bits and bobs left over, so there was some spares there just in case you did lose some. But overall, an absolutely superb rig for the money. So would I recommend one? Absolutely, no question. If you're in the market for something a little bit different, but still want the full functionality and rigidity of an Aluminium Profile rig, then this is the wooden rig to go for, without doubt. Rock Solid Rigs, perfect company to deal with. Communication's great. What I got in the boxes is what you'll get as a customer if you buy one. So I would highly, highly recommend it. And this thing is going nowhere. My Aluminium Profile rig is going to go into storage. This is going to be my rig moving forward. I can't wait to get some races done. Anyway, that's my that's my review thoughts of the RSR-21 from Rock Solid Rigs. Massive, massive thumbs up. Hope you enjoyed it. See you later. Cheers.